The winds of change are relentlessly sweeping the media, with new platforms allowing people to watch anywhere, anytime. The European Parliament's Culture and Education Committee recognizes the vast potential and the dangers. That's why they're suggesting changes to the EU's new audiovisual directive. The directive considers new platforms like smartphones, tablets, and web TV that make it easier to disseminate culture and language-specific programming as well as advertising. The sky's the limit, it seems. That's where the EU sees the need to regulate, to protect against abuses. The EPP group's Piotr Borys wrote the report the committee approved Thursday.
We emphasize that self-regulating initiatives are very important for the producers themselves and for citizen organizations. They can speak about it and especially inform about the harmfulness, especially of food for young people and kids, because they are the most vulnerable to advertising.
For example, the committee's report calls on member states to draft codes of conduct for improper advertising in children's programs, especially relating to sugary, salty, or fatty food and certain beverages.
We will make strong appeals not only for special programs, but also for the production of hardware, such as remote controls, and information on the TV for people who don't see or hear very well, to be able to fully use the media.
Mr. Borys also calls on the European Commission to monitor media services to people with visual or hearing impairments and make recommendations.
The most important issue is to take into account freedom of the media. This directive on a broad scale talks about pluralism and media freedom. There is a whole chapter devoted to that.
The report asks how the EU can promote European works and those of independent producers to provide a level playing field for broadcasters and protect the freedom of expression. It notes that 1,500 services are based outside the EU but target European markets.
In the whole system, advertisements have to protect the consumer, especially those groups particularly vulnerable, especially the youngest. And that's the core of the media regulation. We also speak about protection against stereotyping and sex discrimination.
The report also urges stronger efforts to improve media literacy. It all comes down to better education. The EU's Audiovisual Observatory says there are more than 8,000 TV service providers and more than 2,000 on-demand providers in Europe. It's a media explosion in recent years that MEPs say warrants a greater degree of scrutiny.